Good evening, peoples. A wild Friday with Powell speaking in Wyoming at the economic conference. All right, let's jump in here and talk about what happened with Coin and Coney. I must say we got lucky. We may not get lucky next week because we're very close on the strikes because I'm sure they rolled earlier in the day, which is good to get out of the previous one. So let's jump into all that. So let's recap what happened on 8/22. Well, on 8/22, they came in and they closed out all of these 215s. So there were three groupings totaling 17,100. So they went early. I'm not faulting them, right? When you sell something for $2 or $3 and you take it off, they're all bought back at 38 cents. A little high, but they went a day early. Nothing wrong with that because you insured yourself a nice profit. I think they were in the 80, 85% capture. I didn't do the math, okay? So that's good. So then Friday comes and they're left with the 212.50s. I probably would have done it the other way. I probably would have taken the 212.50s off on. I know percentage wise these were further out, so they got a higher capture. So c'est la vie, and no fault, no fault really. So they came in here, but it just goes to show you, I'm not going to say, well, they would have gotten a cheaper price on Friday, because remember, I beat them up about not taking a sure winner with an 80% gain a day early, and they did. But so they came out and they wrote these 17,100 on Thursday, 8/22, and they got $3.03, but they were right back at the same strike price they took off, which at that time was a lot lower, right? Because it closed at 198. That looked like a good price. But now fast forward to Friday. Luckily, and I say this was really lucky, they were way underneath their 212 and their 215s. So they went and got the 212s off earlier in the day before Powell, right, did his speaking and the market really flew. So good job, fund managers. They bought back the 212s for 14 cents. And that's almost 16,000, 15,950. So they were able to write a 217.50, but remember the price was lower. So there's some argument sometimes for when you save yourself, wait till the end of the day, because what happens if it swings up a lot? Then you're writing from a position of strength. Granted, you don't want to let that day expire, although there is some thought of just wait, take them off the table on Friday and wait till Monday. I mean, 50-50. It's going to work out sometimes, it's not on others. So, not finding fault, but here's where I'm stating the facts. And then I'll tell you some other good news, okay, for a change. So we flew up, right? 6.54% to 211.4. So obviously it's still below our 212. And so they were able to buy it at 14 cents. So they probably did that earlier, a little bit earlier. They didn't want to wait and see if it's going to get up to 212. So in general, I'm happy with these. We got high 80s% of capture. Okay. What's dangerous now is these guys, but not really at fault here. When they wrote that out at a 215, they were probably at $200 or 198, and it seemed pretty reasonable, right? This is showing 8.35 based on this number. So, but now look at these weeklies, right? We got all of our contracts in 2 weeklies. So, hey, they laddered. Can't fault any of that. But we're at 2.89 and 1.7 with 5 trading days in crypto. Again, who knows where it's going in those days. And so we're up. We're in a way better situation. Now for some good news. Okay. So this is a little scary. Here's the good news. So as you could expect, when you're running like that, way up, okay, then look at your synthetics now. So you got a 210 with 13,000 contracts. You got a 200 with 5. They're slowly moving out of this guy. I'm not so sure that they will based on where they are. I'd say just leave them alone. They're all making money. If anything, this is the one making more money because they're the, well, I shouldn't say that. This one is because they're over that, right? They're over this by $11. They're over this by $16. So the issue with the 195 longer term, it's on October 18th. So they can roll out of these when they feel like it and go into the 195s, and the same here. So we've got 2 million profit, call it 3, 6 million, and 26 million, right? So altogether, for a change, we have a 35.3 million paper gain in our collective group of synthetics. Now, the bad news is based on the move up after we sold the 15,950, we got, what did I say, 280 or something? Yeah, we got 282. Look where it closed because it was much lower when they wrote it. Let's go to holding. So now this 9,600,000 they collected, they'd have to pay 17.7. Now it's not a problem if we don't rise a lot, right? I mean, we're at 211, we can go right up to 215 and win the whole 9.6. So we got pretty lucky last week. And I'm hoping we get there again on coin. But it's hard to say. Look at this chart. There may have been a day I didn't do it, but look at this 35 million gain. We've been 11, 32 million in the hole, 3 million in the hole. Okay, so it's nice to see that. And now I'm just adding all three together and taking that number. Before I was playing with the 210, then trying to follow who had the most contracts. Now I'm just adding them all up and doing it. They won't stay three forever. You know, my guess is they're going to roll out of one of those, but they're out till September 20th for two of them and out to October 18th for the larger. All right, so that's how we stand with this situation. So let's go over, well, actually, I do a little more. So we closed at 1681, 6 cents cheaper, right? Because it knows you're getting close to getting capped and some of that, and people just, these are never going to match, especially on the wild day. We did keep up though, to take you back. So coin was up 6.54, we were up 5%. The day before, coin was down 3.78 and we were only down 3%. So not bad, really, when you work these two numbers. We're staying pretty consistent. It's only when you're capped, when you get run by, which could happen if crypto keeps running and dragging coin up. So I'm happier, I gotta say, but we're far from out of the woods, guys. But let's go over and look at payouts. So this jumped up a lot, right? We kept what we had around 15 million. We wrote 33,000 worth of contracts and got $3 and $2 between Thursday and Friday. So that number's big, but remember, what is it? 12 million of it, 9.6. We have 9.6 million at risk, and right now it would cost us 17 million. Okay. That's going to get better unless we run by these numbers. And guess what, guys? If we run by 215 and 217 and we're at 211, that synthetic is going to get big, right? It's going to be 60 million in the synthetic gains, right? But remember what I was saying to you. What happens if if they have to buy back like a 18, 19, $20 million loss, then they're going to sell some of these, right? And that's good because you're capturing your profit if we run way up. At least we're positioned in our synthetics with a profit. All right, guys, let's finish up in payment. So I analyzed this. I said, hey, basically, we won our weeklies. We bought them back for 38 cents on Thursday and 11 cents, but they're all written in the high $2 and low $3. So kudos, fund managers. All right. 35.3 million. Well, based on the share count, that's 86 cents. Kind of ironic. We've got a 59-cent gain here, but it's subject to capturing these guys. And we got an overall 86-cent loss. We got 59 million. Well, the 35 gain could easily turn into 59 gain and only cost us a portion of this. So we're we're getting close to break even. Break even's not what we want, right? I would say to you, well, we want to run like crazy next week, but sadly we can't. Anything above 215 starts hurting us, right? And they're both big enough numbers, 16,000 and 17.1, that, the 17.1 is at, um, which one is at the 215 and one's at the 217. Whoops, here we go. Yeah, the 15 is at the bigger one, 16,000 is at the bigger one, and the 17,000 is at 215. So in a perfect world, you go to 215 and you buy it back earlier in the day, or on a low day, and you get it off the table. Because if this thing runs to 230, it's going to cost us a bunch of money here, but we are going to win that. But the only way to really get Coney and the $1.50 and all that is to do this next week at 8:30 and then have a follow-on week where you win all your weeklies and you don't really lose a lot in your synthetics. Okay, guys, that's what I got for you on coin. Mr. didn't fare as well, it did on its synthetics with Misty, but it ran by its weekly. So I'll put out that. All right, guys, that's what I got for you. Again, this is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. For fun and entertainment. Have a good one, guys. Bye for now.